Hi, I'm Mike Lin, and I like powerlifting.
Welcome to What Do You Like? The podcast where we get to know a person through their passions and hobbies. Today we are very lucky to have Mike Lin joining us, and Mike Lin's passion and hobby is physical fitness, which I think is amazing. Welcome to the podcast, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. A pretty busy day, but besides that, doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. Just getting used to this podcast situation.
Yeah.
Still very new,
Yeah.
but it's really exciting.
I feel very lucky to be the second guest.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate.
I mean, I'm happy that I made it to a second podcast. So,
We're still gonna edit the first, and then you'll get to your second one.
Oh no, the first one's edited.
Oh, it's edited already. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
it took me a couple hours, but I mean, it's done. I mean,
Nice.
and hopefully, if people listen to this one, they've already listened to that one.
Yeah.
And they can judge how much better I am or worse I am after the first one.
Yeah.
But this is exciting to have this conversation. And I really think it's obviously the hobby is fitness, and you mentioned previously, you mentioned like powerlifting and things like that. And I just think it's really exciting to kind of understand the person's mind who has that passion, because I definitely do not. So I think this will be a really great conversation. And hopefully I can pick up some pointers to kind of lose some LBs, or at least be able to do like more than 2 push-ups. But I guess kind of get started. Where did this kind of like passion for physical fitness start? Like, were you really young, or is this more of a later in life kind of passion?
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, it definitely started early. I started playing hockey in like 2nd grade. That was my first sport. I guess technically my first sport was t-ball in like kindergarten or whatever. But my first like major sport that I started playing, like that I started liking, was hockey, floor hockey. Started doing that. Then I went on to track. Then I went into football and track, and then wrestling a little bit. And then after high school, whatever, I just like really in high school is when I started powerlifting, or started lifting. And then high school, I kind of got really serious. Like junior year, right after junior year, I stopped doing track, and I just had just lifting. So that's when I got really serious into lifting, and kind of bodybuilding type of stuff. And then college, I was still lifting a little bit, and then after college, we went to work and everything like that. So I stopped lifting for a while. And then recently, in the last like 4 years or so, I started getting back into it and started taking my fitness more seriously again. Then I got to the sport of powerlifting, which powerlifting is like basically you do squat, bench, deadlift. Those are the 3 main lifts for powerlifting. And I started following all these like fitness influencers online and everything like that. I kind of got into powerlifting. It's like another sport I can do. I can kind of go back to sports and be competitive again, because I'm a very competitive person. So I need to do something competitive, and it helps motivate me to really push my limits and everything like that.
Gotcha. So that's really interesting, because I mean, growing up, I'll say this, I mentioned on the last podcast, Mike I've known for many years, but I mean, we've never really talked about weightlifting. It hasn't really come up in personal conversation. So that's why this is a really interesting conversation. But I mean, we were both involved in youth sports.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever competed against each other. I guess probably football.
Football that one time.
When I tackled Rollins.
Yeah.
And I caused
the fumble opening kickoff. I remember that game.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I remember the only thing I remember from that is the stuff I did. Because that was by far my best game. We still lost, I'm pretty sure, but wait, no,
you guys did. Yeah, you guys lost.
We did. We were actually pretty good, not because of me,
Yeah.
but that our like That would have been sophomore year. Our sophomore team was pretty good. Our
Okay.
varsity team was terrible, but our
Uh,
sophomore team was pretty good. Um, but yeah, so like I was involved in all those sports,
yeah.
but the lifting and the cardio was never something
Yeah.
that I was really into, and the competitiveness was not something I was into. I liked the team aspect of it,
Mhm.
and I liked winning, but I
Yeah.
didn't really the idea of pushing myself to reach peak physical fitness to
Mhm.
achieve goals was never something I was into. But that's something that it was very much part of you. And do you think it was your competitive nature that kind of fueled that, or could there be other things that kind of fueled
I would say
that?
primarily, yeah, it's like my competitive nature and wanting to be like the best I can possibly be. And like something, I'm the type of person who I go all in or I don't go in at all. So it's either I give 100% of myself or I don't do it, period. So like for me, if I'm gonna be, working towards powerlifting or like being, just lifting in general, like most people when they lift, they lift to look good or they look to be sometimes it's health. To me, that's not enough motivation. I need some sort of competition. I need to be striving towards something. With powerlifting, it's a competition. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of like how much work you put in and how much, obviously your genetics will come into play. Not everybody's gonna be like to get to, like Larry Wheels is like the strongest person on the planet, basically. Like pound for pound, I mean, most people are not going to get to this level, obviously. He's like one of a kind. But it doesn't even matter how many PEDs you take or anything like that. You're just not going to get there. But for me, I want to push my limits to as much as I can. It's always been, for me, it's always been, I want to be the best I can possibly be. I want to maximize everything I can do. So even like in my personal life, I want to maximize my time. I want to maximize my efficiency and everything. Like with my charity efforts. Like I want to be I want to do as much as I can with my time. I want to make sure like I give as much as possible in my life. For me, there's no point in like doing a half-ass. I want to make sure it's all the way, all the way there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so it's almost less a competition against other people and more
Yeah.
competition against yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's always been about me. Like I don't care. Like people can beat me. I don't ever compare myself to anybody else. For me, it's always like, am I better than yesterday? Am I near my potential? And right now, I first answer yes, I am better than myself yesterday, but I'm not anywhere near where I think I can be.
Gotcha. So what does success look like in your mind?
Well, like for powerlifting, it's by total weight you lift. So total weight you lift between the three lifts. So right now I'm at like 1100 total. I want to get my total to like 1300, which is like national level. So like I'm not going to get that this year, most likely. But maybe in like 2 years, assuming I don't have injuries or anything like that, which is a big issue. Like my body's been getting injured a lot more frequently lately because it's getting older. Yeah, if I can get to 1300, that'd be like national level. That's my goal for the next like 5 years or so. After that, I don't know what success would be after that because the thing with fitness is you'll get to a level like if I was like this like last year, for example, I'd be happy if I got to the level I'm at right now, but I'm still not satisfied. So I can say I want to get to 1300 and be satisfied, but I don't think I would be satisfied at that point. I'd want to just push my body to whatever I can get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one thing that just pops into mind, like, is there, I guess you get to 1300, which
Yeah.
I can't even fathom. I mean, because so it's three lifts. Let's
Yeah.
just cover this. So it's three
Sure.
lifts. I assume it's bench press,
Yep.
squat, deadlift.
Yep.
Oh man, look at me, fitness guru.
I also said it earlier, so
Oh,
don't give yourself
okay.
too much credit.
Well, I didn't remember you saying it, so
Uh,
subconsciously I still knew it by myself.
yeah.
But so those three lifts, you're right now lifting a total of 1,100 pounds,
Yeah.
which no human should be able to do.
Yeah.
No normal, not normal,
Yeah.
no average human
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah. 1,100 pounds between all three lifts. So it's not like 1,100 deadlift. Or, that's like lower level.
Yeah, are there people out there that can do 1,100?
Yeah. So the mountain, like half door
Okay,
from Game of Thrones, he actually set the record recently. He lifted like it was 501 kilos, which is like 1,105 pounds or whatever, which is like nuts. Like that's the world record.
In a deadlift.
Yeah.
Was it straight bar deadlift or is it?
Yeah, straight bar deadlift.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never did those.
Yeah.
I always did the
hex bar.
Hex bar.
Yeah.
That was my. I was always strong in the legs, but my arms were always terrible. I think my max bench was like just shy of 200. I might have just gotten over 200.
Gotcha.
So just the idea that you're doing 1100 among 3 lifts just seems insane to me.
But it's actually like not. I mean, it's like above average, but it's not like elite level for like powerlifting. Like people will take powerlifting seriously. It's like it's about average. I'm like your average lifter.
Gotcha.
In my weight class, I mean.
So you're saying like right now the goal is 1300.
Yep.
And that's like national. So like in national competitions, people are lifting around 1300.
That's like the minimum. Class. Yeah, that's like the minimum if you want to be national level. Like the top person in my weight class, he's like 1500 or something like that. But like his deadlift is like 700 pounds. His squat is like 550, and his bench is like 405 or something like that, which is like nuts. Wow. So he's over 1500. I think if I did the math right.
I can't do the math.
Right, I think it's like 1600. So
you're throwing numbers at me that I'm just amazed with.
I mean, he's like the top in the world. So like I'm not gonna say I can't do it, but like obviously that's like a big battle. But
I think that it's amazing that you're striving for even close to that level.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the joy is the I guess the work leading up to that. So like I want to talk about like when you are in the gym.
Yep.
What does like lifting bring you joy? Does it like calm you down? Like what are your feelings when you're in the gym?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So for me, it's like I have a lot of anxiety and like just mental health issues, and it helps me a lot to kind of just relieve stress, and I just get to zone out for a while and just kind of focus on just kind of letting loose a little bit. With powerlifting, you have to. I mean, if you're going to be really good at powerlifting, you have to have like some sort of motivation, like that's mental. Like, well, it's just relieving stress or something like that, or just like getting out some aggression or something like that. Like every powerlifter has some of that. Well, because it just helps motivate you. Otherwise, you're just doing it for fun, and you're not going to get those top lifts if you're just doing it for fun. It has to be some sort of benefit, like mental health benefit. Like in my opinion, maybe not everybody. That's just my opinion, but in my opinion, like you need that to kind of give you that extra push. Because most people kind of plateau and then they just get stuck there forever, and they don't kind of push themselves past that limit. I shouldn't say limit, but past that plateau. And if you don't have that like extra motivation, that's like this intangible, you're never gonna get past that plateau. Because it's hard to get past that. Like I got stuck at like 285 bench for a while, and I was getting so frustrated. But eventually, just hard work and just give it like just basically zoning out and kind of just really letting loose on that, letting loose any like held back aggression I had in my mind or anything like that helped me push me over that. And like once I got to feel like a 305 bench, it was easier to train for that and train to get better than that. So yeah, I guess for me it's like a lot of mental health related reasons to like why I enjoy it so much.
Gotcha. So it's very much a coping mechanism.
Correct. Yeah.
If I bring in my therapy background.
Yeah.
I guess I worked in a therapy. I was never a therapist. I don't want that out in there. I was never a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
But that definitely like the idea of coping with other things.
Yeah.
I think it's an incredibly healthy thing that you're using, maximizing your physical limits as a way to do that. I mean, most people like myself will use pizza. Or again, I mentioned this in the last podcast, but binging is we talked with our friend Robbie about binging anime. He denies that he binges. I believe you are actually, I think, on my level of binging.
When it comes to TV, like I am definitely a binger. There's no holding me back, honestly.
Gotcha. So I mean, that kind of goes into like when you're in the gym, like maximizing your time.
Yeah.
So you feel like that like I kind of mentioned like that, like everything in your life, you just want to do as much as you can.
Yeah.
What do you do to kind of relax?
Well, I mean, like to me, the gym is like kind of relaxing to me. Like that's when I get to, just turn my brain off for a while and just focus on lifting heavy shit. Sorry if I don't know. Can I curse in this?
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't at this point. I haven't uploaded anything yet, so I might have to put like explicit. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't have any sponsors yet, so
okay.
You can say whatever you
Well,
want.
I can redo that a clean version.
Nah, don't.
Okay.
We'll keep all this in.
Okay. This is never gonna air. But yeah, no, yeah. For me, it's like more about like that is a way for me to relax, so I can just like turn off my brain and just focus on one thing. And like lifting is like it's like a lot of mechanics in it, and you have to get the form right and everything like that. So there's some thinking to it, but there's not. You can kind of just turn off for a while and just lift that deadlift or push that bench or whatever, push that squat or whatever. All you have to do is just one motion, and you just kind of turn off your brain. So that for me is like very relaxing. I get to release some endorphins and everything like that, and kind of, and then when you're after that, you're too tired to really be stressed out. So after that, I'll just lay down and watch anime or whatever. I have to catch up on One Piece, but
you still haven't done your homework.
I watched one episode it's just not as good as the other ones.
I've already finished my homework for this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not as good as the other animes I can be watching.
Yeah, I should tell the listeners we are going through the anime One Piece, which has 931 episodes.
Yeah,
we're doing it 5 episodes a week.
Yeah,
we'll be done in 2047.
Yeah. I finished My Hero Academia, so I have more time.
Gotcha. I finished that too.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go off in a tangent real quick, but that fight with the spoiler alerts, but that fight with the Yakuza boss in the middle of the season 4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When he said all for one, 100%, I actually got like super excited. I was like, "Oh shit, this is the best. This is gonna be awesome."
Man, yeah, I kind of remember that because here's the thing: I watched when they were airing live.
Yeah,
I might cut all this. This is really a tangent. I might keep it in. Who knows? There's no rules. But like, I definitely watched all of season 4 except for like the last 5 episodes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Until
nothing happened in the last 5
just
episodes.
now.
Yeah.
Well, there was an amazing musical performance.
Yeah, but I was so disappointed in the second half after that fight. I was like, "Oh, okay, now we're gonna do a festival arc."
Yeah.
I thought maybe like the Gentle Criminal or whatever that guy's name was. I thought that'd be a cooler fight, but it just was an average fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's gonna lead to something a lot more later on.
Probably, yeah.
And all people that read the manga don't say anything because I don't know how to read. I know how to read, but I'd rather just watch the anime.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to it. Kind of I don't know how to phrase it. I don't want to say how your brain works, but like, I mean, that's where our passions and hobbies live. I mean, that's what makes us human is our critical thought and our advanced brains.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking about the future, and feel free to stop me if this is like too dark of a place. Yeah. But I mean, at some point, like your knee's going to go out and you're only going to be able to lift 900 pounds.
Yeah.
Like what is like, I guess, what is the goal? Like, what is it? Is it reaching new heights the goal, or is it just maximizing what you currently can do the goal?
Well, I definitely want to reach new heights. Like there's no reason why anybody can't, push their limits. I think a lot of people like these don't have the mental toughness to really push it, or at least don't have the motivation to really push it. So there's really no reason why anybody can't really push the limits. So like what is perceived as limits right now. But yeah, for me, like the goal is also to kind of just maximize what I can do. Like I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else or anything like that. As long as I'm like doing as good as I can, that's all I really care about. Like for me, like aesthetics isn't really a motivator for me. like how I look is not a big motivator for me. Like if I want to look better, I'd probably cut some weight and look better. Like bodybuilders have to have low percentage body fat percentage. I do not, just because I can't lift as heavy when I'm cutting weight. So for me, like looks aren't important for me. If I was going to look good, I'd, again, just kind of cut weight. For me, the motivation, as long as I'm doing performance-wise, as long as I'm maximizing what I can do, that's all I care about. Like if I'm 60 and I can't deadlift anymore, that's okay. I'll still just I'll just do like bodybuilding stuff versus like, powerlifting or competing in powerlifting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the idea is to always be the best you currently can be.
Correct.
And then like try to push yourself one level above that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I just never want to put limits on myself. Like, sure, I may have like some lofty goals, potentially unreachable, but there's no reason why. As long as it's strive for average, then there's no point. So I'm always going to strive for like doing the best I can possibly do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings in my mind. We'll go back to where you mentioned your charity work. I mean, and you have done some work in the animal rights.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of go into more detail there, but like, what does this mindset of maximizing yourself look like in that realm?
So like for that, I just want to like, I feel like I've done a lot already. So I'm comfortable kind of just doing, what I can do, like whatever in my free time I can do. But like back in the day when I had more free time and I was like more motivated to like do as much as I can, like save as many animals as I can and everything like that. And I was doing like 20 hours a week of volunteer work back then. Now I'm just doing, 5 hours a week at most, maybe 6 hours, and that's good enough for me. I just want to do what I can in my free time without, really tiring myself out. Because when I was doing 20 hours a week, I did that for like 5 years or whatever. That really kind of burned me out. And eventually I realized I wasn't really doing it for the right reasons. I did it because like I felt like I had to, and I felt like I was, if I wanted to be a good person, I had to do this. And I felt like, sometimes I felt like I owed it to people to kind of do this, or I owed it to the world to do my part and do this, which is kind of self-destructive, honestly. So now I do it, and I took a year off, just for personal reasons. I don't want to get to details on that, but I took a year off from animal shelter work, and then eventually I just realized I wanted to do that, and I wanted to help out more. And now I do it because like I really, really want to. Where before, towards the end of it, my last run, I was kind of just doing it because I felt like I had to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that shows like a healthy understanding of yourself and understanding your limits. And then I think that really says a lot that you recognize your motivation wasn't pure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, obviously right now powerlifting is something that you're really focused in, but that makes me think that maybe in the future you realize that your motivation is no longer pure in powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it shows that your passion is driven by kind of like a moral compass almost, which I think is incredibly amazing. And like kind of where you feel you can best either help yourself in positive ways or help others in positive ways.
Yeah.
And then finding the balance too, right?
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while to kind of figure all this out. Like before, I was not living a balanced life. Like in my 20s, I was not living a balanced life, like whatsoever. Like I felt like I was spreading myself super thin all the time. Sometimes I was like, I have 2 dogs also, so like I felt like sometimes I was neglecting them too. They'd be at my mom's house a lot, and I wasn't really doing stuff for me anymore. I was kind of just doing stuff for like everybody else except for me. But now, and last like 4 or 5 years or so, I started focusing more on like my mental health and everything like that, be more mindful of myself, just kind of finding more mental balance and emotional balance rather than just kind of, basically, quote unquote, sacrificing myself for other people.
That's very interesting. Kind of go from there. What would you tell yourself from your early 20s that you've like learned in this time to better understand all that?
Yeah. So I've actually been thinking about this a lot. Like the one thing I would really say is like it's okay to do stuff for yourself. That is one thing like I never wanted to do anything for myself. Like I didn't. I always thought like, oh, put everybody else first, and everything. That's kind of just how I grew up. But like for me, it took me a while to realize like it's okay to do stuff for yourself first. It's okay to take care of yourself first, and actually you should. You can't really take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. You really can't do anything for other people unless you are like taking care of yourself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think that's something. I mean that's part of
Yeah.
the growing process. I
Yeah.
think. I'm sure we all have things that we want to tell our younger self,
Yeah.
and one day maybe we'll be able to do that. Although it'd be terrifying, terrifying, post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
Back to the Future style world.
Yeah.
That I mean, we might be heading that way.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I would never go back to the past.
Yeah.
Like if the time travel was real, I would be too worried about messing up my current self.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, we already can go to the future. It's just called like a coma. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like they can also, if you can travel at the speed of light, you can travel in the future, but
yeah. Maybe one day.
you wouldn't
Maybe.
age. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy stuff. So I guess these podcasts are not like very topical, but obviously something that's going on right now as we're recording is the COVID-19 crisis.
yeah,
How has that affected you being able to power lift?
sure. So luckily, I am fortunate enough to have like all my home gym stuff. So I have a squat rack where I can do bench, squat, deadlift. And actually made my own deadlift platform out of plywood and like rubber. So I actually haven't been affected. I had this all before COVID happened. So no, I actually don't go to the. I have a coach where I go to the gym like once a week. And train with my coach, but besides that, I'm just working out at home. So it actually hasn't affected my training like whatsoever.
Wow. So you're like a doomsday prepper, but powerlifting.
Yeah, it was that all like came from me like just being really cheap and not wanting to pay for a gym membership. So that was like really when like that's originally how it manifested. But now that COVID happened, there's quarantine. Like I'm super happy I have it.
That is pretty lucky. And I think I get, again, like obviously this is your passion, this is your focus. So it makes sense that you'd be kind of prepared for
Yeah,
everything. And the investment, because obviously weights are not cheap,
yeah,
but if you're using them every day, like
yeah,
it's a good investment.
yeah. Like if I figure like if the math works out, like if I went to export or something, it'd be like $50 or $40 a month or whatever. So I'm getting my money back by after 2 years of using it or whatever. So really wasn't that like big of an expense when you think about it like that for me.
Yeah.
I get to keep it forever. So
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like, I don't know, do weights deteriorate? I mean, it's just heavy stuff. So
yeah, I don't think it does, but I mean,
yeah.
it probably take years and years and years, like decades.
Yeah. What's the half-life of a
A plate?
Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. I guess it would just be whatever metal it is, so like whatever half-life that is, which I imagine is pretty long. So
yeah, it'll probably outlive you.
I'd imagine.
And outlive your offspring as well.
Yeah, like maybe my great grandkids will have to worry about it deteriorating.
Yeah. They'll wait. Oh, this is half a pound too light. Oh no,
This is not 45 pounds. This is 42 at most.
Man, that'd be rough.
Yeah,
Man, the
my
future.
Great grandpa wasn't as strong as he said he was. He's fake weights.
That's exactly what they'll say. Oh man. Well, so the one thing, and I guess this doesn't really apply to you as much, because I know if I was as strong as you, and maybe this speaks a lot about myself, I would go into the gym and constantly look at all the other people that are weaker than me and say like, oh man, that guy's only benching 250.
Yeah.
Like that guy can't even squat 300. What is he even doing with his life?
Yeah.
But obviously you don't do that because you just live by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like, even when I was going to the gym regularly, like, I didn't care what anybody else did. And most people don't. Like, that's like there's obviously some douchebags who, like, will judge you. And honestly, there's no place in the gym for those type of people. Like, the gym I go to, like, where my coach is, like, if you judge anybody for, like, what they're lifting, like, you're out. Like, they will kick you out. And I'm, like, at a serious powerlifting gym, too. So it's not like, everybody's lifting like light weights or anything like that. Like everybody's lifting heavy weights. But I never feel judged. Like there's people that are way stronger than me over there. But I never feel judged. And honestly, like, if you are judging somebody who's, just trying to better themselves, like that's your own issue. There's obviously something wrong. Like you feel something wrong about yourself rather than them. You're just kind of taking out on them. Because everybody there's just, trying to get better. There's no reason to judge anybody. Just trying to, make their body better, be healthy or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think that might be the difference between a powerlifter gym and like your standard gym.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I mean, again, I do not frequent them. I should.
Yeah.
I should go a lot. Well, not right now. Right now that'd be the last place I would go. But there definitely is like this culture of I'm going to the gym to take Instagram pictures and appear to be physically fit. And I think that definitely separates someone like you who really doesn't care if anyone – because, I mean, again, we know each other personally.
Yeah.
We never talk about your powerlifting. The only thing that will ever come up, and again, I'll cut this out if you don't want to talk about it, but when we were in like high school, your muscles were so big you couldn't touch your shoulders.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we'll ever talk about, your like weightlifting.
Yeah.
Again, let me know if you want me to cut that.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
But yeah, it obviously doesn't – it's not something you brag about. It's not something you really – and that's why when we were talking about this podcast, you said, well, I could do it about powerlifting. I was like, I know Mike's strong, but like I didn't realize you're like a power lifter. But that shows you that this isn't about anyone else.
Yeah.
This is your personal passion. And I think that's something that I'm kind of noticing in these conversations. Like as we get older, we find passions that we can do by ourselves and we are in control of. Because I think when we're younger, there's all this like reliance on other people. Yeah. And again, it kind of shows your transition from team sports to something that is you're in complete control of. And I think it really allows people to take ownership. It allows you to take ownership of yourself, and you don't have to rely on anyone else. And also, you're not comparing yourself, which I think is pretty amazing. So I guess kind of to finish up with this, we talked about what you would say to your past self, but what would you say to someone who, I guess, doesn't have the same like internal drive that you do, but has the same kind of goal? Like, what do you have any advice for someone? I mean, I'm speaking kind of for me, because obviously I want to be able to be healthier, but I don't find weightlifting calming. Is there something you can say? Or, I mean, there might not be. It might not. That might not be something that is right for me. I'll have to find something else.
Yeah. I would say if you don't like powerlifting, or if you don't like lifting, period, there's other ways, like, to get in shape. You don't have to do like bench, squat, deadlift, twice a week, every week. Like, honestly, like some weeks for me, it's like kind of torture to do deadlift twice a week because it is so heavy. But I mean, as long as you're just moving, like just start with moving, start with walks, just get your body moving. Like you don't have to just start benching, 225 right away or whatever. Like that shouldn't be, if you're just doing it for health, it's not important to bench heavy. It's not important to deadlift heavy. It's not important to squat heavy. Just do it for yourself. Do it for, if you want to live a longer life, just do it for yourself. And just, think about what your future is going to be like. If you want to avoid any like long-term disease like diabetes or something like that. Like there's a lot of studies saying, lower body fat percentage, helps with, preventing diabetes or cancer or anything like that. So think about that stuff, to help yourself. You can be selfish in that sense. Just kind of be selfish and, help yourself and be healthy.
Gotcha.
But just start slow. You don't have to lift if you don't want to. You can just walk. You can do run if you want to, bike if you want to, swim. Anything active is fine, because you're burning calories. You just have to burn calories. You can burn calories in any way. Just do something you like to do. If you're doing something you hate, you're not going to keep doing it. You're going to get burned out. You're not going to want to do it anymore. You're not going to have the motivation to do it. Just find something you really, really like to do, or not. You don't have to really, really like. Just find something you kind of enjoy, and then you'll eventually learn to like it, and then you'll move on to other things too. So it doesn't have to be the same thing every time. Like for me, like I also do Spartan races too, and that training is completely different than powerlifting training. Spartan racing is a lot of endurance training versus like just top end strength or what have you, or short term burst. It's less explosion. That it's more like just kind of consistent pacing. So I enjoy both, but I don't like running that much. Like I used to be a track runner, but I was a sprinter, so I don't really enjoy long distance running. But I enjoy doing like the Spartan races. But to train, that helps motivate me to kind of run. But once you get like the first like 2 miles, like for running, the first 2 miles is always torture for me. It's always my slowest miles. But once I get into it, you kind of just forget about it and actually start to enjoy it. So for me, I hated running at first, but then I just kind of built it up. Now I kind of enjoy it. Just you can't, like Will Smith has a quote. He always says like you don't build a wall, or you don't go to build a wall, with the intention of building a wall. You kind of just place one brick at a time and do it as perfectly as you can. I just kind of butchered that quote, but basically his quote is like, you just put one brick at a time, and eventually you'll get a wall. Just kind of take it step by step, and eventually you'll get there. That's kind of a really long answer, so cut some of it.
No, I think that's very helpful. I think, and again, it kind of goes in line with the whole idea of finding a passion where the passion is never going to be the result. The passion is always going to be the process.
Yeah.
So finding that whatever is the process that will that you'll enjoy, that you'll actually follow. I think it's definitely wise words.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I mean, I've definitely appreciated you taking time again in this brand new venture I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Very much a new passion of mine. But I guess we'll kind of end with, is there anything that I don't know, you're not a professional. Do you want to promote anything? Do you want your social media?
Yeah, I don't know. You can follow me on social media. It's Mike Lin 6. That's my handle.
Gotcha.
It's public. That's my only public social. So you can follow me. I don't post much on there, but you can follow me.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I appreciate you joining. I think this is a excellent conversation. I think I definitely gained a lot from this, and I hope everyone who's listening will gain a lot on this. Again, I'd like to, all the listeners out there, I want to let you know you can follow the podcast on social media. On all social medias, you can just search "What Do You Like Podcasts." You should be able to find it. You can, if you want, email me. I have a new email address. I'm really professional now. It's jeremy@whatdoyoulikepodcast.com. I suggest you try to go to the website because I have whatdoyoulikepodcast.com. It doesn't work for me. Hopefully it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, you should email me while I figure out this whole world of podcasting. But again, Mike Lin, thank you for joining me. And everyone out there, we'll see you next time.